Welcome back. It's Friday night. We have action. The San Francisco Giants have signed third baseman Matt Chapman to a 3-year, $54 million contract with player opt-outs after both of the first two seasons. The structure of the contract is going to be $20 million in 2024, $18 million in 2025, and $16 million in 2026 if he reaches that point of the deal. So here I was about to hit record. We were going to start talking about standout players for the Giants in the first week of spring training games, and the news drops on my phone before I start recording from John Heyman, every Giants fan's favorite reporter, saying the Giants had agreed with the deal with Matt Chapman, and then Jeff Passan confirmed it, so everybody could breathe a sigh of relief. So for those that are looking for spring training content and talk on that, I will be doing that tomorrow, barring some shocking news of say they signed Blake Snell or something on top of it. So that is going to be going tomorrow, just so everyone knows. But now we're going to get back to talking about Matt Chapman and what he brings to the table. So as many of you know, I've been against signing Matt Chapman to a long-term contract. I have maintained from day one that if we were just looking at it in a vacuum, who the best third baseman for the Giants would be for 2024, it's been Matt Chapman. He's clearly the best option on the table. So what does Matt Chapman bring? Number one, defense. Talking about a guy that's had 92 defensive runs saved since he's come to the league in 2017, which is tops among third basemen. Even last season in 2023, he was worth 12 defensive runs saved and 4 outs above average. His career outs above average are, I believe, 53 outs above average. So he's elite. He's won several platinum gloves, meaning he was the best defensive player in all of baseball, any position, and he's a 4-time Gold Glove winner. So he is, it could be the expectation, the reasonable expectation is he's probably going to be at minimum a finalist for the Gold Glove at third baseman if he's healthy. He is now, barring health, he's also been incredibly durable in his career, which is a nice change. Last year, he only played 140 games, which, J.D. Davis has only done a couple times. Before that, 155 in 2022, 151 in 2021, and 156 in 2019, 145 in 2018. Now, he did battle a hand, I think it was a finger injury last season, kind of sapped him of some power. So it is something to keep in mind. Number two is power output that he brings. This is a guy that has had, in over his last 3 seasons, had 58 extra base hits in 2023. 17 of those were home runs. 55 extra base hits in 2022. 27 of those were home runs. 45 extra base hits in 2021. 27 of those were home runs as well. So for an offense that has lacked some thump, he is going to bring some thump to the offense. This is a guy that if you go on his Baseball Savant page and take a look at, kind of where he falls and, MLB percentile rankings, he's in the 98th percentile on average exit velocity. He's in the 98th percentile on barrel percentage. He's in the 100th percentile on hard hit percentage. He was basically the best player in baseball in April and parts of May last season before he injured his finger. So he hits the cover off the ball when he makes contact. So he does bring that to the table. Now, this is a guy that does have a lot of swing and miss. His last couple years, he's been a little better. It's been 28.4%, 27.4% over the last 2 years. He was up in the mid 30s, low to mid 30s for the previous 2 years. And he's got a career strikeout percentage of 27.2%. So there is a lot of swing and miss to him. Now, flip side of that though is he is in the 94th percentile on chase percentage. So he doesn't, doesn't help pitchers out a lot. He does draw a ton of walks. Last few years, 10.7% last year, 11% the year before that, 12.9% the year before that. He's got a career walk rate of 10.6%. So he is going to get you, he's going to draw a lot of walks for you. So, looking at the Giants and how he's going to help them, kind of as I mentioned on a previous episode, this is a team that was 19th in home runs, 25th in doubles, 27th in slugging percentage, 24th in on base percentage, and 26th in OPS. He should help in all of those categories if he just has kind of his normal Matt Chapman year. Now, his bat has taken a little bit of a step back. He's been kind of in the mid 700s for OPS the last couple of years. There's always a possibility maybe he gets with Burrell, gets with the right team, right hitting coaches. Maybe he can kind of rebound closer to his Oakland days and get that up over 800. That'd be ideal. If he does that, he would certainly be opting out after this season, but the Giants would be getting a humongous season out of him, and they'd probably love every second of that. I think most fans would love that he plays well enough that he opts out. So that's something to keep in mind. The Giants were also 28th in average. Don't think that's going to be something that really Matt Chapman does a ton to help there. He's got a career 240 average, even every year for the last 5 years. Going back starting in 2019, hit 249, 232, 210, 229, and then 240 last year. So he's probably going to hit, he's hopefully going to hit about 240 at least. I think I would love for him to be between 240 and 250 and then just maintain his his on base about where it is. It's usually about 330 for his career, and then provide some power. That's really what they need. In a perfect world, he'd probably be hitting 6 for the Giants right now. You're probably hitting him 5th, right behind Jorge Soler. But you know what? He's more protection for Jorge Soler than anybody else. I mean, the reality is he can beat you with the long ball better than anyone else on the roster not named Jorge Soler, and teams aren't going to want to risk putting a guy on in front of him just for him to possibly park one on them. So it does provide legitimate protection for Soler, so that is a big positive there. He's got a little bit of a limited career in Oracle Park. He's in his career, he has had 58 plate appearances, 14 for 53, which is a 264 average, 3 doubles, 3 home runs. He's got a 327 on base percentage and a 490 slugging percentage. Comes out to an 817 OPS. So not a ton of appearances there. Most of them were with Oakland, but he's had success there. He's one of his home runs actually was into the right field arcade in a night game. So clearly he's got pop. If you can put it over that fence in a night game as a right-handed hitter, that's a poke. So the park, I don't think will be a massive issue for him. Obviously, he's probably going to lose a few to right center field, but for those that have gone on to his baseball savant and use this information for what you can, I have kind of mixed feelings about this data and its accuracy, but they call it the expected home runs by park that supposedly factors in wall heights, distances, environmental effects, which I don't know how you factor in environmental effects as far as like what's the atmospheric pressure in San Francisco at any given time, but somehow the people way smarter than me figure out that stuff. So if you buy into that, the last 3 years I'm going to use here, in 2021, his expected home runs in Oracle Park were 36. In 2022, it was 32. And in 2023, it was 18. So he actually, based on what he actually did hit, which was 27 in 21, 27 in 2022, and 17 last season, he actually lost home runs every season by playing in a different park than Oracle Park. So if we go off of those numbers, he hopefully will be able to hit just fine in Oracle, kind of factoring in that and his past performance in San Francisco. So I don't think the park's going to be that, horribly difficult for him. A lot of his power does come from center field to left field for the most part, which for right-handed hitters is much more favorable than left-handed hitters. So that's kind of where, use that information where what you can. So where does this kind of leave the Giants financially? As I said, he makes $20 million in 2024. That's going to put their regular payroll to about $172 million as it stands. Their competitive balance tax payroll As of right now, they were about 46 million short of the tax based on Spot Track. I think Fangraphs has a bit of a different number. I'm going to have to kind of do more research on Fangraphs, but that's usually based on average annual value of the deals. So for him, it's going to be $18 million average on the contract. So 18 million is what would be going towards the competitive balance tax for this season. That means the Giants still have about $28 million in space. So they might be able to fit one Blake Snell into that. Maybe on another short-term deal, similar structured. He'd make a lot more money than Chapman, but this episode's about Chapman, so we're going to kind of let the Snell thing go for right now. But they are also going to have to move either JD Davis or Wilmer Flores. So we'll see kind of where they go there, but they cannot fit both of them if they're going to have Chapman on the roster. One of them is going to be either of those guys can play third base to back up Chapman, but also either of those guys is going to be the right-handed option in the platoon at first base with Lamont Wade Jr. So it seems like they value Flores more. I'd imagine JD's a guy that gets moved. If he does, he should have some value. He's not a bad player. JD Davis is a solid player. He's coming off a really good year. He's in his prime. He's only got 1 year left. He's not expensive. He's making $6.9 million. I'd imagine they'd be able to move him for, if you took someone's top prospect list, someone in the 10 to 15 range on any given team's top prospects, should be able to at least get like a mid-level guy that's high A arm or something. They should be able to get something of value for JD Davis. You're not just giving him away and paying half his salary. So he's probably going to be the guy that gets moved, I'd imagine. And that's fine. Him and Chapman have actually provided a lot of similar numbers. If you go off WRC plus and things like that, like in relation to league average, they've been similar caliber hitters in their plate appearances, but Chapman does it in a larger sample size, hasn't been a platoon player, plays every day. So clearly a better player, not to mention the defense. So that's kind of where it leaves him there. They have the room. They can continue to add if that's what they want to do. We'll see what happens. But overall, as I said, I think this is a really good deal for the Giants. What I'm most grateful for is I've been harping on them to pick a direction, either play the kids or go try and win. They are clearly trying to win, and they're sending the message that they are trying to win. And I appreciate that because, it's one thing to say you're trying to win and then keep trotting out a bunch of middling vets at a lot of positions to go get a guy that's been one of the best third basemen in the game at his prime and putting him at third base, at least for this season. You are obviously trying to win in 2024. And there are two teams that, with the Dodgers and Braves that are going to clearly be in the playoffs at the end of the year, but you have a huge mess of teams that all look like they're going to win about 85 games this year between the Phillies, the Reds, the Padres, the Giants, the Diamondbacks who won the pennant last year. You got a whole mess. I'm probably, the Marlins might not be that bad. You throw them in there. There's a whole bunch of teams that feel like they're going to finish right in the middle. The Brewers haven't even blown it up yet, other than trading Burns. They've added Hoskins, and they still have Adames and a bunch of other guys. So they might still be decent. So there's a lot of, it's wide open in the NL, and if they can go get Snell or get another pitcher, and then all of a sudden you get Robbie Ray back at the end of the year and things like that, they could really potentially make some noise and have a team that could be competitive that time in October. So phenomenal deal, my opinion. As I said earlier, I'm going to talk spring training baseball probably tomorrow, assuming nothing else happens on the next day. Other than that, I hit 200 subscribers today. Appreciate all the support from everyone. If you like the content, for anyone that's not subscribed, like the channel or like the video, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell if you want to be notified. I typically try and post at minimum about 3 times a week. Obviously, I was on vacation last week. I'll continue to post almost every day, as much as I can. So I'm really enjoying this. I didn't expect this much growth. It's been awesome. I appreciate the support from all of you guys. I appreciate all the interactions I'm having with people in the comments here on Twitter. If you're not following me there, follow me there. Tags right there in the bottom of the corner of the screen. at EYD Show. But other than that, talk to you guys all tomorrow. Have a great night.